Hi, I'm Tim and this is Timberway Designs. In this video here, I'm going to make a cabochon, or show you how to make a cabochon the way I do it, out of a rock or a slab. This week, I got a piece of purple jade. Let's make a cabochon. So this week, we're sporting a piece of purple jade I picked up at a local rock show. Couldn't help myself. I got a couple little chunks here. Look at that. Never done any purple rock before, so this will be a first for me. About the right thickness. So I went ahead and we're going to do a cushion cut here. That'll be the show side. So we're going to take this down. I'm going to trim this out on the trim saw, and then we'll take it over the cab machine. We'll grind down to the lines, put it on a dop stick, and then we'll make a cabochon out of it. And I'll go through all my steps with you. And if you're interested, this design here is a cushion. I make these templates here. I got, I think, like 26 of them on Etsy right now. I just made 4 more, but I haven't put them on there yet. And all kinds of different designs, different sizes, and then they're all the exact same size, so they stack really nice. I put the dimension, or how big it is this way, in inches. So, you know, 1.25 inches, and kind of goes down from there. Made out of plastic, pretty durable. They're not see-through, but you'll figure it out. So, and the other thing too, I've had viewers ask for certain shapes they can't find anywhere else. If I think it's viable, I can make it. So just give me a shout or leave a comment in the comments. So think about it. So I'll see you downstairs in the saw. Okay, we're down here on my high-tech 10-inch trim saw, and we're going to trim this out to the line here. All right, that's good enough for me. Now, the more you trim, the less you grind, but you got to be careful that you don't knock a chunk out of your rough cab here. So let's move over to the cabbing machine and start the process. All right, we're all set up on my Kingsley North 6-inch cabber here, and I have no affiliate with Kingsley North. This is just the cabbing machine I got. So I got an 80 grit, a 220 grit, and a 280 grit. So we're going to start on the 80 grit, and we're going to kind of get it down close to the line, but not on the line. And then we'll move over to the 220 grit and get it on the line. And then we'll use the 280 grit to clean the marks off the 220 grit left. So let's get going. All right, that's close enough on that one. Let's move the 220 grit. Now you notice there's radiuses on all 4 sides here. This is pretty slight here, but when you're on the hard wheels, don't stop, because you'll grind a flat spot and you will not get it out on the soft wheel over here. Yeah, that's looking pretty good there. Let's move on to the 280 grit. I'm liking that. Let's see what we got here for a kind of a pre-shine. Oh yeah. So another thing to remember too, when you're grinding on these wheels here, don't just stay in the center. I mean, obviously if you got a big stone, you're going to be working in the center, but on an edge like this, kind of move it around a little bit so you're not wearing a spot out on these wheels here. All right, so I'm going to shut you off, get a stick on this thing. We'll come back and make cab, or start making a cab out of it. All right, we're all dopped up here. Basically all I'm doing is gluing a stick, so I got something to hang on to with lapidary wax to the back of the cab. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to grind in a girdle. It's going to be about an 1/8 inch, 2 millimeter-ish from the bottom. And then once I get that established, then I'm going to cut the top edge and work my way towards the center. So let's start grinding. All right, you can see I established my girdle, that flat spot around the bottom edge there. You can see the angle I came in at. And now it's just got to be an angle. It don't have to be like a specific angle. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start grinding on this top edge right here and work my way towards the center of the cab. Now stay away from the girdle because you established that. You don't want to be grinding into that anymore. Okay, now you can see I got almost kind of looking like a dome there because I've been grinding towards the center. Now the center is still flat spot right there, but usually this is all the farther I go. And then I was just going to mention the girdle does not have to be 1/8 inch, 2 millimeters, because that's the way I do it. You can make it thinner, you can make it thicker, but for this scenario here, this is the way I do it. So I'm going to start doming it now. So now we're looking here. I think I'm going to do just a little bit more. I want to round it up just a bit. All right, I'm liking that. Now we're going to move to the 220 grit. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Looking pretty purple there too. So I've been kind of breaking the edge on the 220 grit now, just the very edge of this. Not, I don't go down the side or anything. And if you got a soft stone, you might not want to do that. Here, probably over here. So let's move on to 280 grit. See how we're doing here. Getting there. All right, we're going to move over to the polishing side. So we'll shut the camera off for a minute. All right, we're over here on the polishing side, and we have a 600. A 1200, a 3000, and I got a cerium oxide disc around the corner here, so we'll start at the 600. All right, we're going to move on to the 12. Getting kind of a shine there. All right, now we'll move on to the 3000. Well, that's what we got so far. So let's move over to the cerium oxide and see if we can bump this shine a little bit. So this is my cerium oxide disc. It comes with the machine and it screws on a foam pad into the end of the shaft here. I like this disc because it's replaceable and it's not messy. And it does it okay, well, it does a fairly good job in my opinion. So let's see what we can do with this cab. See how we did. And there you go, purple jade. So I'm going to chuck this in the freezer, get it off the top stick, and then we'll take a closer look at it. So here's the cab we worked on, purple jade. Yeah, I thought it finished pretty good. I was a little nervous towards the end there on the 3000 grit because it looked a little dull right in the center there, but I think it came out okay. I really like the color. Like I said, this is the first purple rock I've ever worked on here. Yeah, so it'll end up on Etsy, and the Etsy link is in the description down below if you want to check that out. I don't like to try to get it on. I got a bunch of others. I'm getting kind of a backlog going here. I like to get all this stuff on, so everybody out there can take a look at it. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. So I got enough left over to make a couple more cabs. You might be seeing them. So let's finish this up. Well, thanks for watching me take a piece of this and making this right here. This come out pretty good. This is really good looking stuff. So next week, I scored myself a piece of Bumblebee Jasper. This will be the project cab for the following week, next week. Yeah. If you haven't already, if you could like, subscribe, share, hype and ring that bell, I would really appreciate it because I could use the numbers right now. And this video comes out every Saturday. And I got another video that comes out every Wednesday where I cut 10 rocks in half and I'll make cabs out of those. But I don't go through the cab demo making those. That you just get to see them in the next episode. So I think that's all I got. So thanks for coming along and watching. I appreciate it. That's all I got, and I'll catch you later.